What's up, LA Live gang? This is your boy AC, and I'm back. I've been gone for a minute, but I'm back with another edition of LA Sports Live. As you guys come to the video, do me a favor, go ahead and hit that like button. It really helps the channel out, and I really appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, if you just found the brother, go ahead and subscribe. And while you at it, make sure you hit that notification bell so you'll be notified every day when we drop new videos here on YouTube. Now you guys see the thumbnail, you see the title, man. The Lakers, hey, they received some bad news. Some bad news the other day, well actually yesterday. And it's a situation that needs to be dealt with. Now, we're gonna get straight to it. We're not gonna mess around, we're not gonna sugarcoat this, man. But here's the situation. Going into the playoffs, well, actually, I guess you could call it the play-in, because the Lakers ain't made the playoffs yet. But if you want to call it play-in the playoffs, so be it. Anyhow, the situation the Lakers are in, only players with guaranteed contracts can participate in the playoffs. I repeat, only players with guaranteed contracts can participate in the playoffs. And that's not good for the Lakers, because we know that the Lakers made a couple of additions after the trade deadline, and one of them being young player Wenyen Gabriel. Wenyen Gabriel has proved to be a very pivotal and important piece to this latest run the Lakers are making. I believe they made, well, they won 2 out of 4, but anyhow, whatever the case may be, the Lakers' play of late has improved, and Wenyen Gabriel has been a big part of that. So they kind of got themselves in a bind, because Wenyen at this point, he will not be eligible for the playoffs because he's currently on a 2-way deal. Now, I'm not for sure exactly what deadline, what deadline the Lakers have, or what date the Lakers have, but there's only one way out of this situation. You know what I'm saying? Unless somebody gets hurt and the Lakers go ahead, and release them or whatever, or something like that. The Lakers need to get Wenyen on a guaranteed contract. So the only way that's going to be able to be done, and I'm pretty sure the Lakers will wait to the last minute so they can save as much money as possible, they're going to have to waive a player. They're going to have to make room on the roster to allow Wenyen to be eligible for the playoffs. And so therein lies the question, who is it going to be? The other DJ, he's already gone. All the other players, I don't really see any other likely candidates to get released other than maybe Kent Bazemore. Now, in one sense, hey, we know Kent Bazemore has kind of fell out of the rotation and everything, and he appears to be the odd man out. But what I've been seeing from Kent Bazemore, man, he's been a good teammate. He's always rallying his team on the bench when timeouts are called or anything like that. He's always one of the first ones to jump off the bench and greet his teammates coming to the bench and all that kind of stuff. So in one way, I kind of feel bad for him, but another way, man, it's just like I don't really see any way for the Lakers to avoid this, man. I really don't. Somebody's gonna have to get waived, and like my man Steven Scott, salute to Steven Scott who's in the chat, they're gonna have to waive somebody to make room for Gabriel, and the most likely candidate will be Kent Bazemore, and that's just the way it is. I believe the Lakers probably will wait to the very last minute or whatever deadline that they may have, but I think we're going to see, fortunately for Kent, he's gonna get let go. Now, I'm sure, like I said, I think Kent has been, I believe, in my opinion, he's been a great teammate. So I'm pretty sure he kind of has an idea that this is going to happen, or it may happen. And I know behind the scenes, the Lakers might be trying to make a deal for him. Not necessarily trying to, they can't trade him. We know that. but maybe they might be trying to find a situation where there may be a team with an open roster spot that might be in need of a player of his talents, and maybe that they might make some calls, calling a favorite and see if he can latch on with another team, because there have been players up until this week who have been signing and staying with teams regular season. Like I forget what team, little Isaiah Thomas, he just recently signed on with a team for the remainder of the season, and last week. So it's not. There are teams. The bottom line is there are teams out there with open roster spots, and there is a little bit of time left. So maybe, like I said, the Lakers can do. Hold on a second, guys. Maybe they can do Kent a solid. Make some phone calls or whatever, man, and see if they can find a landing spot for him to go. But as it stands right now, guys, just be on the lookout. This is going to happen. The Lakers definitely need Gabriel for the playoff run. He's proved to be a very excellent and important key addition very late in the season. And I just don't see, at this point, it's not really going to cost the Lakers a whole lot of money versus, when we were hollering and screaming to get rid of Kent, many months ago. At this point in the season, it's so late. Kent has already gotten most of his salary, so it ain't really going to be that big of a hit on the Lakers as far as they just decided to part ways with Kent Bazemore. Now, look, what the Lakers got going on tomorrow. Let's see, the Lakers have a big game. Let's look it up real quick. Lakers have a big game tomorrow. 4 p.m. Pacific time against the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the Lakers are currently tied. Let me check real quick to be sure. So NBA standings. Western Conference. Come on, man. Slow ass computer. Right now, the Lakers, no, they're not tied. The Lakers are actually, I guess it's because they have a tiebreaker, and so far the Pelicans have the lead this series between the Lakers. They've already beaten the Lakers. Anyhow, so Lakers in 10th place. They have identical record, but with the New Orleans Pelicans, they both have a record of 31 and 42. So right now, the Lakers, they are solidly in the play-in. But the thing the two things they gotta, kind of keep their eye on. Number one is they have, I believe, after tomorrow, I believe they have one more head-to-head match with the New Orleans Pelicans. So you got tomorrow and I believe one more game towards the end of the season. Now, why is that important? That's important because whoever finishes in ninth place will actually have home court in that 10-9 seed game. So if the Lakers if the standings stay exactly the way they are right now, the Pelicans will be the higher seed and they will host that 10-9 play-in game. Now, I don't think it really matters that much to the Lakers if they will have to go on the road. Me personally, I would prefer them to go on the road because to me sometimes they pussyfoot too much at home. But anyway, I think you'd rather be safe than sorry. They'd rather have that game at home. So that's one part of the significance of the seeding as far as 10-9. If they finished in the 9th seed, they will host that game. Now, there's another situation, but it's a very remote and very unlikely set of circumstances that this will happen. Now, some people are saying, look, the Lakers could still miss the playoffs, which they could. If the Lakers just go belly up, let's say, if they just go belly up the rest of the season and they only win 1 or 2 more games, if you look at the standings, the San Antonio Spurs are just 2 games behind the Lakers for that 10th spot. So if the Lakers just happen to go belly up, which I don't think is going to happen because they've been playing better, and let's say if the Spurs catch fire, they could actually, overtake the Lakers for that 10th spot, and the Lakers will be out of the playoff picture altogether. Now, like I said, I think that's very unlikely, but I guess, if you want to look at percentages or whatever, hold on, guys. I guess it could happen. I don't think we played San Antonio a number of times this season, so I don't think we have many more games left with the Spurs. Let's see. Lakers schedule. There's only 9 games left, man, so let's look at the schedule. Pelicans, Mavericks, Jazz, Pelicans. So that's 2 games against the Pelicans. Man, this is a really tough schedule for the Lakers. You got the Pelicans coming up next. Then we have the Mavs. Then we have the Jazz. Then we have the Pelicans again. Then we have the Nuggets. These are all fucking playoff teams, guys. Nuggets, Suns, Warriors, Thunder, Nuggets. So we have 2 head-to-head games, including tomorrow versus the Pelicans. The rest of the games are against teams that are currently way above the Lakers in standings, and they have 1 game left against the lowly Thunder, which we all know this season hasn't necessarily, been an easy win for the Lakers. So if the Lakers are going to make it to the playoffs, man, if they're going to make it to the playoffs, they're going to have to earn it, and they're going to have to continue to play well the remainder of this season. Will we have time? Will we have the chance to rest LeBron James anymore this season? I don't know. We can look at the dates of the schedule. Okay, let's see. Tomorrow, and then they don't play till Tuesday, and then they don't play till Thursday. Then they have the back-to-back on Friday, and then the next game is on Sunday, Monday. So it's almost like every other day. We got 1 back-to-back in there, and then after that, it's pretty much every other day that the Lakers are going to be playing, man. I'm telling you, that's tough, and that also kind of proves what the Lakers were doing against the 76ers. They definitely were resting LeBron James, because if you look at this season the rest of the way, they're not going to have an opportunity to rest LeBron James. It's just not going to happen. They're going to play every other day. You still got 1 back-to-back mixed in there. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be easy. Now, let's say today, what we got today? Today is the 26th. And so AD is talking about an early return. So I guess the early April return. So the earliest we can see AD is maybe this coming weekend. And then the schedule is going to end on April 10th. So, damn. Shit, so really, let's see, do the Lakers have a game? They do have a game on April 1st versus the Pelicans. And let's just say AD decides to come right back on the 1st against the Pelicans. They would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games left. This shit is just not going good for the Lakers. Things are just definitely not in their favor. Best case scenario, if you get AD back on the 1st, the Lakers will have 5 games back. 5 games left. Really no time to rest LeBron James. AD will only have 5 games to come in and knock the rust off. The offense is going to slow down to get a little bit more stagnant once AD's in there. It's just it's not a good set of it's not a good situation. It's not a good scenario for the Lakers, man. But this is their bed. They made it. They're going to have to lie in it. Going into the playoffs, they just need to continue to play well these last few games, man. And I guess, the only way you can look at it is, man, just let the chips fall where they may, man. Either they were determined or destined to be a playoff team or not. Honestly, in my opinion, the deck is stacked against them because this remaining schedule is too tough. But you never know. Some of these other teams, they may decide to rest some of their star players. Because these guys who are locked in front of the Lakers, Nuggets, Suns, Warriors, Mavericks, Jazz, they're pretty much locked in to where they are in the standings. So we might have a situation where they might decide to rest some of their players. But if you've been watching the Lakers this season, we know it doesn't really matter, who's playing on the other teams, because for whatever reason, these other teams, even the bench riders for the other teams, they would love nothing else, than to, play spoiler and knock the Lakers out of the playoffs. We know that for sure. One thing for certain, two things for sure. Mavericks would love to knock the Lakers out of the playoffs. I'm glad they don't have to play the Clippers anymore, because the Clippers will be acting like it's a goddamn NBA Finals if they played the Lakers in one of these last games, and they would spare no expense to play the spoiler role against the LA Lakers and get them knocked out the playoffs. So man, it's gonna be tough, guys. It's gonna be tough. Now let me look at this schedule one more time. We have today at 4, Tuesday at 4:30. Thursday, just the 31st at 7 p.m. April 1st, I will not be available. So what I'm going to do is on Thursday, March 31st, depending on my location, but we're going to do a special live stream of the game against the Utah Jazz. I really should be doing the April 1st game against the Pelicans, but I will not be available. It's my wife's birthday. Really her birthday weekend. You know how that shit goes. So it's gonna be kind of tied up. But we'll try to do the March 31st game and see the next week. And then we'll try to do the April 7th game, a live watch along of the game. By that time, we should have a pretty good idea where the Lakers will finish, if they indeed will make the playoffs or if they're gonna fall out. Real quick, if we want to look at the San Antonio Spurs schedule, let's see what kind of schedule the Spurs have going forward, to see if they have any chance of catching the Lakers. They play the Pelicans tonight, so when the Lakers play the Pelicans, Pelicans will be coming off a back-to-back. The Spurs got the Rockets, the Grizzlies, the Trailblazers, Nuggets, Minnesota, Warriors, and Mavs again. Sort of semi-easy schedule for the Spurs. Let's check the Pelicans remaining schedule. Like I said today, Spurs, next game is the Lakers, then they have the Blazers, Lakers again, Clippers, Kings, Blazers, Grizzlies, and Pelicans. Hey man, it could go either way. It definitely could go either way, man. One thing for certain, two things for sure: the Lakers can absolutely not afford to bullshit in any way. These last remaining games, they cannot lose. I think that Philly game is the last one. That Philly game will be the last throwaway game. That Philly game will be the last game where they can afford to rest players. We're just gonna have to monitor the Spurs. And if the Spurs lose like within the next two games, like if they lose to the Pelicans, the next game today, that's gonna put one nail in their coffin, and then they lose another one or two games, and that'll be it for them. And then it's just a matter of the Pelicans. What they do the remainder of the season. and what position the Lakers will finally fall in, 10th or 9th. It's crazy because if I'm not mistaken, the Lakers were back. They were in the same situation last year. Hold on a second, guys. Let me get my music going on. The Lakers found themselves exactly in the same position last season, but I believe last year the Lakers were in the 9th and the Warriors were in the 10th. And of course, you guys remember what happened. The King LeBron James had to put the dagger in the Warriors and hit that 3 right in Steph's face. We hope the playing games don't get to be that close. I guess the Pelicans. Let's see. Well, before I leave, let me check on Brandon Ingram, and then we're going to assume that this so late in the season for we're probably not going to see Zion. There's no reason for Zion to play. Okay, Brandon Ingram's status for Pelicans versus Spurs. Let's see. Nah, they're not really giving him. I don't think he's gonna play. So that's good news for the Lakers. No Brandon Ingram. So we're gonna see how things go for the Lakers, guys. I'm gonna cut this live stream off, man. People falling off. But anyway, salute to everybody in the chat. Salute to everybody coming by. I'm out of here. I will rap with y'all later. Somebody hit that outro so I can get up out of here.